Welcome, everyone, to a one-off episode of Comic Chat with Gat. We are a weekly show dedicated to all things comic books and pop culture, and little did you know, a huge thing happened last week on the Arrow and Flash crossover, and since the fall finales are coming up soon, we wanted to give you guys a quick recap in case you missed it, and also give us some of your great tips on what happened and what's going to happen next, especially leading into Legends of Tomorrow, too.
Yeah,
so I'm Chris, that is Taylor. I guess we should start with Flash, because that was on the first night.
Yeah.
A lot of things happened in Flash.
I think that episode was better than the second episode. I think that
there were so many different things that happened that made it better than the second episode. So we have let's go over the Flash first.
That might okay. Go
move over
talk to me about it.
All right, so watched this late last night. Finally had to watch it before we started.
I thought you watched Flash earlier this week because we talked about it. I said it was great, and you were like, "Yeah, I saw it."
Nah, I lied.
Oh.
I don't remember saying I saw it, though.
You did.
So, one of the big things this week, I will just do multiple touch points. I don't know their names, though. The Hawk Girl?
Yeah, Hawk Girl.
Do you know her name?
Hawkman. I don't know.
Okay, we'll go Karen. Hawkgirl and Hawkman made their appearance finally by being thrown off of a building and believing in herself. Kids, that's not how you actually do things. When you want to believe in yourself, don't jump off a building to do it. But other than that, they had to go and save her from the big bad. Who is that guy?
Vandal Savage.
Vandal Savage. Is he going to be a regular in the Legends of Tomorrow?
He's the bad guy in Legends of Tomorrow. They're following him through time.
Okay, so obviously there's spoilers in this too, so I'm going to get right into the spoiler that happened at the end of the Arrow episode. When Vandal
Savage.
A dumb name. When Vandal was killed, John Barrowman, who was
Ra's al Ghul.
Thank you. I don't know these people. Ra's al Ghul, he put him in like an urn, and I'm assuming he was going to go put him in
the Lazarus pit.
But then if he threw that, then he'd become like a blobby thing.
I don't know what that's all about. I have no idea what they're going there. But Vandal Savage in the comic books and in one of my favorite animated features, Justice League Doom, which is they kind of took it's called the Tower of Babel, was the Justice League of America story, and they kind of adapted it for a film. It's basically what happens if someone steals Batman's plans for contingency against the Justice League. So Vandal Savage has someone break in to Batman. They get into the back computer. They steal his back computer information, and basically he uses that against the whole Justice League. And when they're like, I don't know how to stop all this, Batman's like, I do, because it's my plan.
Oops.
And they're like, what? And he's like, well, whoop. And it's kind of like, well, they're like, well, what's, they're like, you don't have a plan for yourself. He's like, my plan for myself is the Justice League. And you're like, well, all right. Great animated movie. And it has Vandal Savage the bad guy. And in that, Vandal Savage has explained that he was like a caveman, and then some sort of either radioactive thing, or like a lightning bolt, some weird shenanigans basically made him smart and then immortal. So he's been alive since the caveman days, but it looked like in Flash Arrow it was just Egyptian days, which isn't old enough, I don't think, but it looked like that's how it all happened.
I think that was the easiest way they could reuse the set from the Nanda Parbat.
Oh, is that what it was?
It pretty much was just the same set, but they just changed it up a little bit
and put a different filter.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
But yeah, so it's so Vandal Savage is a really cool bad guy. He lives forever. He's super smart. So yeah, I don't remember in the comic books that has anything to do with him being tied to Hawkman. Or Hawkgirl, but I haven't read.
Kill him.
I haven't read that. They have died over and over again. That's the thing. And Hancock, I feel like, kind of stole the idea of those characters from Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Repurposed.
Well, okay, repurposed. Yeah. But it felt very like.
One of the big things that happened in the Flash episode too, that led into the Arrow episode, was at the end of Flash when Oliver Queen, he was in CC Jitters, and he happened to see a little boy. And he saw an old flame from about 9 years ago and was like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. One of the big reveals was that Oliver has a son.
They've had that thread going for a long time.
It was a slow burn.
It's like season 2 of Arrow is when I think the thing happened, and then you saw her for a split second in season 1 of Flash.
Yep.
And you're like, huh. And then they brought it back. And it's not Connor Hawke, though. That's why I'm really confused. Oliver Queen's son that he doesn't know about in the comic books that becomes Red Arrow is Connor Hawke. He has a name, and he has the same origin, but they're like, let's call him William or whatever they call him.
Wow, I never knew that. So
yeah, and Connor Hawke comes back and all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, I have a son, and he just decides to train him and stuff, and it's weird. It's weird that they would go. Apparently, Connor Hawke is coming in to Arrow, but they're just going to make him not his son, but they have his son. That's I guess the timeline doesn't really make sense, so they couldn't have someone be 16, 17 show up. Because,
they have to go very, very flash forward.
Yeah, or maybe Connor Hawke shows up, or maybe the kid changes his name or something. He shows up in Legends of Tomorrow when it's the future or something like that.
So, speaking of timelines, there was some time travel that was going on in near the end of the Flash Flash, or it was in the Arrow episode, but then at the end of the Flash episode,
This was basically one episode. We want to point this out. We keep saying that, but the Flash X Arrow, Arrow X Flash was basically a two-part.
It's all the same thing.
You had to watch both shows.
So what happened?
Which annoys the crap out of me for Blu-rays.
Why? Oh, so what happened was they were fighting.
Vandal Savage.
The Savage. That's an easier name to remember than Vandal. So we were fighting Savage, and they had to get this staff, and then Oliver was trying to help the Flash, but he was also, his head was not in the game because he told, Felicity found out because Barry gave Felicity the blood analysis showing that it was
memorized his DNA sequence.
Well, she's brilliant, so I can understand it. And so then now she's upset. They broke up, and then Oliver didn't have his head in the game, and he died. He blew up. Disintegrated. His face got burned off in one of the most brutal things I've ever seen on TV. And it's in CW, which was really cool. And then everyone in the house died too.
Everyone died.
It was everyone in the city. It was
like my first trial ending of Until Dawn. Everyone blew up.
There you go. So everyone died there, and so then we had Barry was running so fast from the explosion that he ended up time traveling
again,
and he went back to the original point where they were trying to figure out what they were going to do, and that's when Cisco decided to help out
Hawkgirl to figure out what she was going to do.
Exactly.
She got screwed up too in the fight with Vandal Savage. She couldn't release her wings or whatever. And
because she was focused so much on the anger when she needed to be focused on her goodness. Yeah. Because she's a priestess first and a warrior second. Yeah, he's never gonna find that.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I was like, man, it's like you find a girl that's like hot and he's like into her and she's into him, and then it turns out she has this 4,000-year-old boyfriend, husband, soulmate that she can't really shake. It's for real. That's a real bummer.
So it happened, but then of course everyone wins at the end of it.
All of them showed up together. There were so many costumes at one time. It was like 9.
And then of course Laurel showed up and did her little screech, and not much happened after that.
Didn't do anything. That was the weirdest moment. She was like, "Canary cry," and Vandal Savage is like, it literally.
What does this do?
He didn't like blink.
It doesn't do anything.
It should have done something. I wish they would have had him like be blown back or something.
Not a damn thing.
Nothing. I thought that was so silly.
Anyway, so that happened. They defeated him using the same staff with a corrected version of the gloves,
which used the nth metal.
That was cool when they showed the nth metal, and then they had the little GPS keychain that was given as a little token to Hawkgirl.
If you really, Hawkman and Hawkgirl are from another planet. They're aliens that keep regenerating, and where they come from, like the Hawkman's mace and like their stuff is made out of nth metal in the comic books. And then of course that's a really fun card in the DC deck building game, which is where Chris knows it from.
Where I saw it from.
But yeah, which has Hawkman on it, the card. And so I was like, when they said that, I was like, you guys.
Well, there we go. So that was a big part of it. And then one of the biggest things that Shannon and I, when we watched it last night, we were genuinely upset, and we still are, was at the end of the episode, Barry told Oliver, "This is your chance, man. Like, this is the one you need to keep." And then Oliver's like, "Look, bro, I don't hug, number one."
That was hilarious.
Was a hilarious scene. And then he was just like, I got to handle it the way I want to. And then he didn't tell.
He lied.
Which, you know what makes it weirder, though? And it's a hard thing, because at the end, near the beginning of Arrow this season, there was a flash forward to someone being dead. Now, there's been speculation in the beginning. Everyone thought it honestly was Felicity, and then it started going into more of Detective Lance. But then when you're watching the first episode of Flash, the part 1 of this two-parter, he kept talking about how happy he was for the first time in his life, having everything he wanted, everything of balance.
Yeah.
Whoa, I'm pretty sure Felicity's gonna die, and that's so sad.
I mean, I think they have to move it into the Laurel relationship, which I don't like, because I don't like Laurel. But Black Canary, Dinah Laurel Lance and Oliver Queen are like the couple, and like they've always been in the comic book. So it was weird to me that they were like using Sarah for a while, like, and I think it might have been more of a fan push to make it Felicity, because everyone loves Felicity. And if they kill her, I don't know. It's
gonna be tough.
And she's like 23. Really?
No.
Yeah, she's like 23. She's
achievable. All right. So, what do you see about anything that's happened here tying into the Legend of Tomorrow? There wasn't much of an introduction, except for the fact that they were going to their own city to fight crime.
Well, their own city is actually the city that the new Suicide Squad movie takes place in. I can't remember what it's called. Midway City.
Sounded about right.
I don't know. They're going on their own thing, but it's a whole bunch of people put together.
Right. Why are the rogues in there now? And then wasn't there like a time traveler?
Yeah, it's Rip Hunter. It's the son of Booster Gold. I made that mistake. It said the father, I think, a couple episodes ago, but it's the son of Booster Gold.
So when is he going to be introduced?
It's going to be. They're going to explain all that, I'm sure, in a single episode of the first episode of Legends of Tomorrow, because the episode of Flash was called Legends of Yesterday.
Yes. So one thing what's interesting is that coming up, because you're watching this the week of the fall finales.
So you would have, it's
tomorrow
tomorrow
and the next day.
Yeah.
What do you think's gonna happen? Whatever.
I don't know. I heard my Sarah's brother's a big Flash and Arrow fan as well, and he said watch the trailer for the new episode of Flash or Arrow. I was like, but I haven't even seen this one. He's like, it has nothing to do with it. It's kind of it's on its own. So I don't think any of this is going to lead up to. I think this is going to lead up to something else, and I think that you're going to just get everything you need in that first episode of Legends of Tomorrow. I don't think that they're going to.
Oh, I'm thinking period. What's going on in the Flash and Arrow finale for the fall?
I don't know. Who's the? Oh well, I forgot. It's what's his name? Damien Dark. Is the bad guy still. So I don't know. I thought it was weird though. That was a weird thing I didn't appreciate in the Flash episode when Oliver was done for. Like. If Flash didn't happen to need to go talk to Oliver about magic, Oliver would have been dead, and that kind of was dumb to me.
Yeah,
because it was like,
why didn't he jump in?
The coincidence? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She should always just be like,
yeah, exactly. It's the same. She has the same power, or she can make his power go away.
Yeah, she can just grab his hand every time.
That's so weird. That was a weird moment. Yeah, but
give
otherwise,
him a little cop.
Okay, don't do that. What do you guys think is going to happen in the finale, the fall finale for the CW Arrow and Flash? We're both big fans of the show, as you can see. And, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe. And then also take a look at our full issues that we do. We do a weekly show devoted to all things comic books where we go over the week that was. Last week in comics, we wrap up a backlog of different things we wanted to read over time and do some letters to the editor. We are Comic Chat with Gat. I'm Chris. That is Taylor. Please follow us on Instagram, ComicsWGat, Twitter, ComicsWGat, and subscribe, like, comment, and share. Goodbye, everyone.
See ya.
Flash out.